All right, you're here to see if I can beat Pokemon Leaf Green with a team of only one Beedrill. Now, what are the rules? Only Beedrill in battle, others only for HMs, no glitches or exploits, and other H Pokemon must faint without attacking. Now, Beedrill's stats are pretty interesting in what his moves can be. All right, so with Beedrill's stats, he's got a pretty decent HP for his health. His attacks definitely on the stronger side with 90. Defense, special attack are definitely going to be our problems when it comes to playing this run. Now, Beedrill's moves are going to be what's going to be the biggest hurdle in this game. As you can see, his move pool is not that much. We really don't get a lot of TMs. Layering by level up, the highest move is Pursuit with 40. So it's going to be a challenge. So we start our journey off going through Viridian Forest, taking on all the bug trainers via our own bug, ourself, Barry. Barry, of course, coming from our DreamWorks favorite movie, the Bee movie. I thought it was only appropriate to name him after that. But you see, we take on the bug catchers pretty quick. I'm not too worried about, competition at this point. So we keep on training just because I want to make sure that Beedrill's going to do okay when he takes that first time going against Brock and all his other rock trainers. Brock being strong against flying type, it's a little bit concerned. Also, you see Barry only knows Fury attack at this point. So it's going to be a tougher journey just to get through a lot of this challenge, just because, again, like I mentioned, that move pool is not the strongest. So we got to really be a little more strategic with how we go about battling a lot of these different trainers, especially this first one being a rock ground type and Barry not knowing a lot. So I try to take on Brock my first time. I'm feeling confident. We're at level 14. At least that's about the same level as his Onyx. So I think we're going to do okay. It's just we got to worry about any rock moves that come our way. And got through that first Geodude. Not a problem. Now here comes that Onyx. And there was that rock move. But we learned Twin Needle, which is going to be crazy advantage for us. It took us a little bit of training to get to level 20. But I think that Twin Needle is going to really put in the work. As we saw, it took out Geodude. No problems. And now here with Onyx, one more. And with that poison falling behind it, it was a pretty quick win for us to get our first gym badge, which is pretty cool, pretty awesome. And we can move on to our next step. After that, though, we got to Cerulean City and decided to face the rival truly for the first time. So I throw a couple Twin Needles his way, take out that Pidgeotto. Charmander, again, that fire. It's going to be the theme for a lot of these rival battles moving forward. So I try to pop a quick super potion. Hopefully that will help us. We are burnt. We don't really have a way to heal ourselves at this current moment. And I try to go with it, and that Ember and that burn is really going to send it. So I decided to go take on Misty, get a little more confidence back in Beedrill and Barry to see what we can do. We're up to 3 faints already at this point. In our last challenge with Kingler, we didn't get to 3 faints until I think the Elite Four. So it's a different kind of journey, different kind of challenge this time. But we beat Misty. Wasn't too much of a hurdle. And I think I have what it takes now to go back and fight our rival Gary. This is what his name's going to be, I think, for every challenge we're going to do so far. And the big thing is these challenges are not picked by me. I am not choosing these next Pokemons for each of these journeys. We have outside folks choosing who I have to pick for these just to make sure I don't pick someone who's a lot easier in my opinion. So we beat Gary. Not too worried. That was a good, easy one. We got our feints. We got to beat him second time. So now we're going to take him again on the SS and just to see how we do. Start off with a Twin Needle. Pidgeotto comes in with that Gus. So I think the big challenge we're going to see when it comes to fighting our rival is going to be his Pidgeotto, which eventually will turn into Pidgeot. Obviously, his Charmeleon, which is going to turn to Charizard. That's flying and fire. That's a double whammy for us. And then later on, when his Kadabra turns into an Alakazam, because that Psychic type will mess us up since we are a Poison flying type. We're not a Bug type when it comes to this generation. I think Beedrill is, for the most part, flying Poison. I don't think he ever becomes a Bug typing. Or no. No, he does. No. You're right. I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. So we take him out. His Raticate, not a big problem. We're able to push through fairly easily. We get that, and we were able to now take on Lieutenant Surge. Now, I was really worried about Lieutenant Surge, obviously, because he's an electric type, us being a flying type. One good Thunder Shock, one good Thunderbolt could really mess us up and make this gym leader a true problem. However, you'll see what level we're at. And we're level 39. And so we make quick work of that Pikachu. And I'm pretty sure we're going to make quick work of this Raichu any second. Yep, I was right. We're able to beat Lieutenant Surge real easily, I think purely because of our level and we were faster. So after beating Lieutenant Surge, I decided it's time to go say hi to my favorite person, Giovanni, and let him know why Team Rocket is going to lose once again to a child and his pet bee, Barry. So we start up with some Twin Needles against Onyx. Again, it's the rock types that I'm worried about, not so much the ground types. They're just a lot more sturdier, and our attack moves aren't the strongest. So they're really, until we learn a grass move, they're going to cause us a little more problems in the future. But we make pretty quick move through his Kangaskhan. I'm not too worried. Those Twin Needles are going to really be our help for pretty much the entire game. After that, I go see Erica. Now, Erica, I'm not too worried about taking on. At this point, I think with her being the grass types, us being a flying type, it's going to be pretty easy. As you see, we learned Aerial Ace along the way as well. Also, we're level 49. I know for some that might be you're so high level, it's not worth the effort. Trust me, level will have nothing to do with it once we get to the end of this run with the Elite Four. But Erica was pretty quick. I'm not too worried about it. All right, at this point, I decided to take our rival on once again, just because we need to get to the tower, get all the needed materials to get farther in the game. So I take on Barry, takes him on one more time, and so we make pretty quick work of his Pidgeotto. It wasn't that biggest challenge. Execute, again, we know Aerial Ace. That's going to be a quick one, especially because he's going to be a Psychic typing as well. So we have Twin Needle and Aerial Ace to really fight that one. At this point, too, Twin Needle takes out that Psychic type. It's pretty good work. I don't want to deal with that Psychic affecting us as poison. Luckily, with Charmeleon, we got lucky with that Aerial Ace. Again, anything I could do to get him out of the way as fast as possible. Gyarados, I'm not too worried. Him being a water and a flying type, I believe, in this generation. I don't think he's a dragon type yet. And so it was pretty, it got a little close there at the end. But again, I'm an amateur player, and so I'm using items in battle. I apologize, but I think it's going to really help us moving forward, and it's going to be a strategy for us later in the game. After beating that, I decide Koga is up on deck for dealing with it. And this is gonna. I was interested for this one because it's a poison on poison battle. The only real difference here is that I have the flying type compared to his poison types that are purely all poison. Now, with this, again, I think this is the first time where I wasn't ever really worried about fighting Koga and his poison effects while they were happening to us. I'd have to worry about, getting that toxic and just having to heal over and over. My only thing, again, here is with Muck and Wheezing, especially Muck, he has a higher HP. And so, again, the whole idea of our enemies having a higher HP and us having not the strongest attack moves, we are stronger attack wise. I think that's what kind of balances out Beedrill. It could be a little more challenging for us. So we use that Aerial Ace, Pursuit, Coughing, knocked him out. Wheezing, safety first, I think. We're just going to try to put on one more potion just to make sure we're okay, because last thing we need is for one of them to use Explosion or anything like that and just make quick work of us. So I decided to use Fury Attack. That smoke screen's causing us problems, so Aerial Ace can be that at least confirmed hit. And just like that, we knock out Koga and we get our 5th gym badge, which is awesome. At this point, I want to just make a quick note. I completely forgot to go to Saffron City. I went straight to Cinnabar Island and went into the mansion and just ran that regularly at this point. Completely forgetting that I had to go and fight Sabrina. I didn't have to go fight Sabrina first. It's optional, really. Not optional, but like you don't have to make that path. So I decided to go and take on some of the trainers over in Cinnabar Island. Quickly remembering why this is going to be such a pain for me is because these fire types are really going to be a challenge for me moving forward. And you'll see why as we go through it further and further. However, though, at this time, I've realized I have to take down Team Rocket once more, and that means also fighting my rival again while trying to save the corporation. Now, during this time, he's getting a little stronger, our rival. He's making me a little more nervous. Again, it's his Pidgeot and his, well, sadly going to say, that Charizard. Charizard learns such powerful fire moves that me surviving more than one hit is going to be a reoccurring theme moving forward. As you can see, that burn, I'm wiped halfway immediately. I can't even try to get faster, and I faint, unfortunately. During this time, though, I think Secret Power is going to be a stronger move for us moving forward. 70 attack damage. All right, so at this point, we have to take on Gary, our rival, once again, and we'll see how it goes this time around. So we take out his Pidgeot, we use Secret Power, get it paralyzed, one done. Next, we take on Execute, Aerial Ace, done. Alakazam, Twin Needles, done. Charizard, we're on such a hot streak. Let's see how it goes. Keep using Secret Power. See ya, wouldn't wanna be ya. Charizard is gone. Next, after that, though, we take on his Gyarados. Again, not too worried. He's not really my worrisome character of his bunch. And so we make quick work of that Gyarados as well and defeat rival Gary. And guess who we get to see once again? Our lovely friend Giovanni with his ground and poison types. So we use Secret Power. Nidorino really didn't stand a chance with us. We just finished him off with a sprinkle of a Twin Needle. Secret Power is really coming helpful for us, but that TM is getting a little lower, so I got to be a little more conscious of when I'm using it and not using it. So we use Twin Needle to finish that off. Kangaskhan, we just use Aerial Ace. We want those confirmed hits. I'm not taking a chance. Nidoqueen, it's a little different, but I'm going to keep sticking with that Aerial Ace just a little longer. And we make quick work of Nidoqueen as well. Gets level 66. See you later, Giovanni. Team Rocket, catch a big L. So I go say hi to Sabrina. Again, if you remember, we have that Twin Needle methodology that's working for us. So that's going to be really our savior at this point. However, we're a little low on the TM. So I want to make this faster than slower for this chance. So we'd see Venomoth use that Secret Power. Should have used Aerial Ace. Example A, as we take it out with one hit after she tries reviving it. So we beat Sabrina. We get our 6th gym badge, and I'm ready to fight the fiery challenge of Blaine. So I go say hi to Blaine, see what's up, defeat a lot of his gym leaders or his gym trainers, and we start to get to work. Total faints about 4. I think we're doing okay at this far. Again, we're level 68, but this will literally prove my point that even though I am a higher level, watch how his Arcanine just wants to make me look like a little bug. So we're up to 5 faints. So at this point, I have in my mind that, oh, if I'm just a little stronger, I wasn't smart enough to realize that truly me leveling up isn't going to save me. I have to be a little more strategic about how I take on this fire gym leader. And how I do it, you'll see. I won't say I'm the proudest. I'm not as great as some of the other people who do the challenges, and that's okay. I know I'm not strategic when it comes to this game. I never have been. I never have been with any of my Pokemon games. The most strategic I have been is I want a type of every kind on my team. If not, at least everyone knows majority of the type moves so I can use it. And so I just try to take on Blaine again. Level 72. I was at 68, I think, the first time I came around through here. But we'll see how it goes. Rapidash, use Secret Power. Paralyze, that works in our favor. Fire Blast does not work in our favor. So I decided to go to quick heal in just because I know Arcanine is sitting there waiting for us, and he caused us a huge problem last time. So I use a Hyper Potion, get us healed up. He uses a full heal, a little more fair on his end. Secret Power, we're out of there. Now, here comes Arcanine being a very fast Pokemon, and with that Fire Blast, it's awful. And if I remember correctly, Fire Blast is not at 100% accuracy. So the fact that he was able to hit me 5 times in a row is kind of outlandish, in my opinion. They finally saw that I was such a high enough level, they thought I could take all these fire moves. But as you see, I have to keep using Hyper Potions back and forth, because if I try to essentially keep fighting, even though I didn't heal, I tried to put a move out, I would have been cooked. It wouldn't have worked. So I used that methodology to try to get us further into it. However, that takedown ruined my life. But this time around, we're at 6 faints. I think I have the strategy. The strategy we're going to use for this time is Fire Blast only has 5 power points for his moves. So that means he can only really use this strong fire move 5 times. So if I can essentially survive the amount of times that he hits me, I think I can be able to pull out, to a point where he's using his other moves and I won't be crit as fast during that point. So we're going to see how that goes. Again, I was not doing this voiceover, of course, while live. So there's going to be moments where I am just cheering and thinking, and you'll see that where I'm just kind of sitting still thinking, what should I do? How should I figure this out? We're trying to see how it goes. Rapidash, I'm not trying to deal with your Fire Blast. So, you see what I mean? Like, Rapidash's Fire Blast isn't as strong, but Arcanine's, for some reason, is a lot stronger. So I decide, let's start this battle right. Let's get fully healed. My HM Pokemon watch, because if I die again, they have to die as well, which is unfortunate. So luckily, I had a full restore with me. I not decide not to use it yet, even though I'm getting burned by this. I know I'm gonna use that Hyper Potion and heal myself entirely. Luckily, I'm under 200 health points as well, so those are pretty much max potions for me at this point. Use that full restore. I think that was his last Fire Blast. Get one more Hyper Potion in me. However, I don't have a full restore, but I think I have a full heal. Do I? Or some kind of burning mechanism. I don't think I did. I think, oh, no, I did. I did. That's going to be your saving grace. And so he doesn't have any more. So he's using Bite. And so I decide to use Aerial Ace, those confirmed hits. He uses Takedown, but he hits without recoil. I still have Hyper Potion hiding out. So I use that, let him take those hits. Hopefully Blaine doesn't heal him. We try with Secret Power, Takedown, recoil, Secret Power. That's it. One of the harder, I think, gym leaders all the way compared to Brock. It was the only time I actually was worried they can actually take us out type-wise and our level really wouldn't have an impact. So I go say hi to Giovanni while he's wallowing from losing as Team Rocket's leader once again. And with his gym, I went straight for it. I didn't do any more training. I think we purely just had to ride him out with him having his ground types. Now, as you see it a lot of times, and I really began to understand this as I get later in the game, is how much these stat moves, like lowering your attack, lowering your accuracy, lowering your evasiveness, really can mess you up. And I didn't really realize it as much when you have your full Pokemon team. You could just switch them out, bring a Pokemon that's going to do a lot better as you make quicker work of that Pokemon. But when you have one in these challenges where you're just sitting there and your accuracy is just getting blown out and you're just stuck, you can't switch out. You can't do anything else. It's like all the other Pokemon on your team have fainted. You're running low on power moves. You can't use someone else, at least. And that's when I'm going to learn a huge lesson in this game, which is humbling to see, someone who's played the games younger, didn't play for a long time, and I'm playing again. But Giovanni, we made pretty quick work of him, get our Earth Badge, and we're able to defeat all 8 gym leaders. Round of applause. Game's not over yet, as you all know. So we go say hi to Rival. We use Secret Power, and now this is when Pidgeot makes me a little more nervous, especially with those wing attacks. Again, we're a little more susceptible to that in this game. And so a Rhyhorn, but big thing with him, he's just sturdy. So we got to just ride him out and use our regular moves just to take him down. Now, after that, we have his Charizard. This is when I meet Charizard and his Wrath, I believe, for the first time. Only had 2 Hyper Potions. Was not prepared. Not prepared for this. Secret Power, Paralyzed. That's good. Speed. We're still faster than him, so I'm not too worried. Only time I think that really being a higher level works is that with us being a higher level, our speed is just stronger. Also with Beedrill's speed, if I remember correctly, it's a little higher. It's about 75. It's more medium tier of a speed, but it's definitely faster than some other ones. And especially since we're a higher level, that's going to help us. Use that last Hyper Potion, and we try to get rid of his Gyarados. Again, luckily those Hydro Pumps aren't really doing much to us. He sends out that Execute, Aerial Ace with that Grass type. Took in this as soon as he saw that Sunlight, I was terrified. But we were able to take out Rival. We make our way. So, like I said before, getting a lot of these items is really going to be a saving grace for us. I am not strategically as sound when it comes to playing these games. And at this point, I was like, I need to finish Beedrill. I'm past the point. Like, he's taking longer than Kingler when I did my first challenge. I knew he was going to be a challenge, and I just wanted to see how quick he make it to Elite Four. So we have our Elite Four and our rival there, and we're going to see how long it takes to get through this. So I take on Laura Lee for the first time. With Laura Lee, her biggest fear when I was going to battle this one was, again, her ice typing. I think it was going to do a lot more damage to us if we weren't a little more conscious with it, especially this hail. It sneaks up on you. It just keeps pounding and going. And if I'm not conscious of it, especially when I'm on a lower health, it really can end us really fast. Especially with there being some of her psychic type moves hidden in here with like Slowbro and like Jinx. That's the last thing I want to deal with. And so I start using my max potion just to heal out. As you saw, I had Geodude hiding out there with me just because I forgot to get rid of him as we were training in the Victory Road, strength using all the boulders. Unfortunately, Beedrill cannot learn strength. Neither would I have taught him strength earlier in the game. Now, Cloyster, I never realized, again, how many times he uses Protect, which is going to be impactful in the long run, simply because we don't have a lot of items that refill our power points. So me just wasting points on him while he's using Protect is wasting moves I can be using on everyone else down the line. Or I don't have to be as strategic along later in this challenge because I don't have as many power points. I was worried about Jinx. Shouldn't have been. Twin Needle made that real easy. Psychic, I believe, right? Ice Psychic type Jinx. Lapras was, it's her ace in the hole. As we were going through this one, again, Twin Needle, it really is effective. We just don't want to get frozen and have to deal with that as we go through this. So the Ice Beam is really getting us. We want to avoid those critical hits by Lauralie and her Lapras. Secret Power, that's one. And unfortunately, it's going to be the easiest of the Elite Four for us. So, time to take on Bruno. As you know, and I didn't show this in this video, we have that fighting gym, that fighting dojo, and I kind of use that as a confirmation of how well I could take on fighting types with Aerial Ace, and I was proven right. Aerial Ace pretty much decimates a lot of fighting types. Now, with Bruno's fighting types, though, they are a stronger breed, and so one hit could easily knock me halfway through my health. And that's going to be my big fear, and I think why a lot of these potions are going to make us through it. Now, with his Onyx, again, he's a rock type, and as you saw that rock throw, that's going to be a problem for us. I don't want to deal with that. It's going to be a little harder to make our way through. So we make pretty quick, easy. Hitmonchan didn't really stand a chance. That Aerial Ace, we've got to make sure it stays on point. Machamp, I remember he was a pain in past ones. Thank you, he's missing. I think sometimes just the algorithm and the luck of this game really can play a factor in how you play the game. And so I'm pretty happy with how that one went. Hitmonlee, again, we're just using Aerial Ace. That is our ace, if you get that, in the hole when it comes to this challenge. Earthquake can't really touch me as much. I am flying. You don't see a bee on the ground. Luckily, he doesn't, I don't think he uses anything to help him with that poison type, so I think that's going to help us pull through here in the end. Oh, nope, he used a full restore. This got a little more interesting. And so we use that Pursuit, just keep spamming it. Can't use Revive. There is only us. Use that full restore. Pursuit, and we got him. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Only 6 faints. Second elite of 4 down. All right, Agatha, it's time to party. Tired of you talking smack about Oak. He's my man. I realized real quick, and I forget that they are a ghost poison. They are not a psychic type. Always remembering for me and bring myself to acknowledgement. And so I got to kind of re-strat how I'm going to fight Gengar and his lovely evolution crew. And so Pursuit is our kind of our move here with it being a dark type and him being a ghost. It's our really ace in the hole. However, as I mentioned before with power points, we don't have a lot of ways to heal or like bring them higher. I have a max ether and a regular ether, but ether, I'm not sure. So you see that we only have 4, and so I have to kind of use my other moves to take down Golbat and Arbok. So we make quick of Golbat. Haunter, again, I don't think I really understood this point, and I keep forgetting that Bug will do nothing to them. Haunter decides to use Curse and will literally make my life an actual curse for the rest of this match. Awful. Pursuit only got 3. He's going to try putting me to sleep to use those Dream Eaters, Nightmares. Keeps missing. I'm afflicted by a curse, and you can't get rid of. I think the only way to get rid of it is Faint, and we can't have that. That's end of story for us. So we try healing one more time. Curse gets me. It takes me out almost completely half of my health. Shadow Ball and Curse. So I go and fight Agatha one more time, understanding that that is not what we should be doing. At this point, I'm pretty sure I used one of my ethers just to replenish Pursuit, as that's going to be our main attack for both of the Gengars and her Haunter through this challenge. Golbat, we're just going to use our secret power, Confuse Ray. Quick sidestep. When your Pokemon, you're by yourself and your Pokemon gets confused, and usually you can solve that by just switching him out or switching them out with a different Pokemon and maybe switching them back. No, I couldn't do that because theoretically, Geodude's not on my team. He just happened to be there at the time. So I was stuck until Barry decided not to be confused anymore. And that happened for a lot of different ones. And so if I knew a Pokemon can do confusion or confuse me in any way, we took him out real quick. However, in this kind of instance, we're still doing okay. Here comes the second Gengar. Pursuit, super effective. Gengar's going to keep trying to put me to sleep just to use those Nightmare moves, those Dream Eater moves, and also using Shadow Ball at the same time. So we heal myself again. I think it was a smart move for us to have those full heals, or else I would have been at the whelm of those kind of moves until I woke up, which if people are able to get past this, I would love to see how these runs are done in Leaf, and specifically Leaf Green, Fire Red, if people do these solo challenges alone and aren't using items. I think I have extreme kudos for those people because I cannot do that. I don't have the patience. My goal is to just get through it, however long that takes, which you will see it took a long time. Again, I fall asleep. He's right there on the very edge. Use Aerial Ace because we know it's going to hit. And we look at just her Arbok left. So with Arbok, I use Secret Power. Arbok really doesn't have any moves that can really come for us. Iron Tail is just a stronger move. Again, our defense isn't anything to scream about. I think that was a big thing for us in this game too, is that we could just get hit. Any physical hit will knock us out. Our special defense is higher at an 80, but our regular defense is 40. It is our worst stat. However, we beat Agatha. Yippee. Pretty proud of that. Now take on Lance, our dragon trainer of the Elite Four. Now, for those that forget, a lot of dragons can fly. And flying type moves are not Barry's best friend. Even though we can fly, flying type moves will do us dirty a lot of this game. So we take on Gyarados. That Dragon Rage is going to keep pushing through. And, oh, that's right. Hyper Beam is the thing. And we get wiped. There's nothing I could have done. Nothing I could have done. I completely forgot that Gyarados knew Hyper Beam. It would have helped us if we survived the Hyper Beam because you got to recharge. But at that point, we were stuck to the whelm. So we're up to total feints of 8. We get past it. We're trying to fight out this Gyarados, trying to figure our way through it. I try to think maybe Pursuit will work. Nothing. I think we don't have moves that are really going to take out Gyarados at this point. And so we kind of just have to keep fighting him out. Maybe with Twin Needle, we can poison him. We can get paralyzed with our secret power. That doesn't work. So I decide, forget Pursuit. We don't need it anymore. There's no more ghost types. Let's learn Toxic. Let's play the long con with these games, with these battles. I think the long con's going to help us. And I've never used Toxic in the past. I just never had really any poison types on my team. And if I did, they knew different, like Sludge Bomb or like other kind of poison type moves. And so Beedrill, and with us using our items, we can really stall out a lot of these different matches. And so at this point, we stall out Gyarados. We hit him with some solid moves, taking on that damage. But on the only way this strategy works too is if Lance doesn't heal or use a full restore, which they all do. And with that, Dragonite takes us out pretty quick. However, we jump right back into it. I took us right back into the next fight where we're fighting Dragonite once more time. Gyarados, we kind of have a strategy now to beat him. However, Dragonite being Lance's ace in his hole, we try, using poison. Hopefully the confusion helps, but Dragonite just has strong moves. That's what's going to really hurt us a lot during this is that even though we can poison them, we can kind of we're faster, we'll get those first strikes off. They just need one clean hit on us and they could potentially wipe us, especially if I'm not at full health, And so with Gyarados, he's poison. Again, a cool thing with Toxic, if you didn't know, if you're a first time trainer, first time watching these games, the longer the person is poisoned by Toxic specifically, the more the poison is going to beat them and take out their HP as they keep going unless they're revived of the poison. And so that's what we're hoping on is that if we can survive, see that Hyper Beam takes us out. If we can survive long enough, that poison will do the work and get us there. Even if we miss our hits, even if we are, fumbling along the way, as long as Lance doesn't use a full restore, exhibit 3, it becomes a problem. And especially too, we only have a certain amount of Toxic. And so if Toxic misses at any point, or we have to start them over on this poison journey 3 times, that's longer. We can't survive forever when fighting them. But as you see, Lance wasn't the easiest thing to beat. If you recall, we were around 8 or 9 feints when we started taking on Lance. We're at 15 right now before we even start getting into the realm. And oh, that's right, Aerodactyls are flying rock. Lovely. So his rock moves can pummel us so quick. And that's the thing too, with these types that are against us, our versus type, we have to survive extra long and extra harder because they only take 1 or 2 moves for them to knock us out, which is not what we want. But we get past his Aerodactyl, it's onto his Dragonairs. Now, Dragonairs, they're tougher. Don't get me wrong, they're not something to just beat over, but they're definitely not Lance's, top Pokemon on his team. It's his Dragonair, in my opinion, Aerodactyl, and maybe Gyarados, if depending on your typing. But of course, when people play this game, they're playing with full squads that are relatively healed, relatively there. And so, luckily, the Toxics really help us start doing in the work, and we get these full restores, full heals, still to kind of bring us life and keep us in the game, which is going to be really important. So we get through, and it's time to fight that last Dragonair. As you saw too, Toxic only had 2 left. That's critical because if I use 1 and hit it, or I miss another one, we're done. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to fight him purely on the attack moves we have. And luckily with Lance's team, he uses such strong moves that they end up confused a lot of the time. And look at that, our last Toxic. So if he uses a full restore right now, this becomes a fully just surviving the battle and attacking. Hopefully he gets confused. Hopefully he gets paralyzed. And we just keep trying. So luckily, again, he got confused and hurt himself. But then, Lance is not. He's a rookie. He's no rookie. He heals his Pokemon. We're paralyzed. That Hyper Beam. We got to use a full restore. Give us every chance we get to get past this. Aerial Ace, because we know it's going to hit. And we defeat Lance with 15 feints. Not best, not amazing, but we get past it. And now on to the person who's going to cause me the most headaches I think I've ever had playing this game. We're going to take him on. Someone forgot to restore his power moves, so I have 0 Toxic. I'm low on Twin Needle, low on everything else, low on Secret Power. At this point, I understand that I need to start this run over 1 more time. These full restores will do nothing for me. No Secret Power. Yes, use a flying move on a flying Pokemon, because that's what I had to resort to. So we got through Pidgeot. Here comes Alakazam. Oh, that's right. Why did I always take him out so quick? because the Psychic type can ruin my life that fast. At this point, I decide whatever strategy again. Oh, let's level up as much as I possibly can. Maybe that'll do something. Maybe I'll just be that much a little stronger, that much a little faster to get it going. And I also restore some of my power moves just to make sure I have every chance, especially with Toxic, because that's going to be our saving strat for a lot of this game. Also, I learned that Pidgeot has that Feather Dance move that destroys my attacking capability. Attack is our strongest stat, like I mentioned before. So without that, we're in a little more of a trouble getting through this. And as you saw, we only have 9 full restores left in this match to use. So I can't just be healing myself after every one of them for that. And that's something I'm going to learn as we keep watching and as I keep going through a lot of this journey. So we faint one more time, which is unfortunate. So after that most recent loss, I decide it's time for me to forget about Aerial Ace and I learn Giga Drain. Now, Giga Drain is a move that I've had for a little bit and completely forgot to implement and use at this time because that's going to help us with Rhydon and it's going to help us with potentially Gyarados and the other Pokemon and just give us that health back. Now, as you see, our counter has increased to 27. That's how long it took for me to learn that to switch up my strategy, really understand who I'm going against, and pull out Giga Drain. Because I don't think Aerial Ace is really going to help us moving forward at this time. Now, I try to use Toxic on Charizard. As you see, that Fire Blast is stronger than Arcanine's Fire Blast. He's higher leveled. I think maybe potentially stronger, just stat-wise. And so he knocks us out pretty quick. So I die a couple more times. Getting through this, I decide to speed you up back to the Charizard fight because that's going to be our biggest hurdle now moving forward. And us using that full restore, getting through it. Now, just trying to hold out fighting Charizard because we want him to be purely offensive when fighting us. And he faints. Amazing. Great. So I take on Executor. Twin Needle, he's Psychic. See, I wouldn't want to be a Gyarados, Giga Drain. I thought that would work. He's water typed. Didn't really go in our favor. We still got that full restore. I pull it out. Use Giga Drain. Just trying to find my way to stay alive during this without having to use any other items. He uses full restore. I try using Secret Power. It's getting close. He uses full restore again. Oh, we got our last full restore. That's a critical hit. I went so fast. I thought I had another full restore. I had no more Giga Drain. It'd be take too long for Toxic. I try to use Secret Power. Nothing. So we get up to 38 with our feints. We were so close. We were right there. And we didn't learn fast enough how to get through it. Now, with Pidgeot, the reason why I think this took a while too is so Pidgeot really isn't his strongest one. Is the fact that he destroys our stats so fast every game. So with that Pidgeot, we use his Sand Attack. He would use the Feather Dance. He is bulky enough for us to survive the hits and like take him out. But in that time, he's using so many Sand Attacks and Feather Dance that our attack is just obliterated. Our accuracy is non-existent, especially when we need that Toxic to hit that first time. And so even though we're able to take out Alakazam, and even though wasn't able to use Giga Drain, that's okay. So I try to take him on. We're at 44 feints. This is the longest challenge. Only my second one, but still the longest so far. Use Giga Drain. We take him out. Charizard. Here we go. Toxic. First hit. See how quickly that Fire Blast almost took us out? It wouldn't even mattered. So we get in. He uses that Bite. I'm nervous. I don't need that full restore, but one blast could take me out. So I have to be at full health every single time he uses it. Doesn't matter what's going on. We just keep holding out. Hopefully he doesn't use that full restore on his Charizard. He doesn't. We get past him. We still have full restores. We use Twin Needle. Make quick work of the Executor. Here comes Gyarados. I decide, again, not thinking, I use Giga Drain. Full restore. I think, whoa, wait. Let's get him poisoned. We just want to make sure that he will still be taking these hits, and hopefully that Toxic will be strong enough that he doesn't think about it. Our last full restore. We survive. Come on. We got this Giga Drain. That's it. That's it. We get past him. We defeat champion Gary, our rival. Beedrill's done it. 44 faints, 8 gym leaders, Elite Four, champion. We make it through. How was this run? It was tough. It was tough to say the least. I'm super proud that we did it. Again, this is a shout out to one of our close friends. Her favorite Pokemon is a Beedrill. That was how this one was chosen for me. Our next one, my wife chose this next one for me. She purely just remembering her Pokemon from the 151. And let's just say I cannot hit anyone with this next Pokemon. Their first moves does not hit physically. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to have to use some other kind of strategic way to learn until we get an actual move. All right. Catch you on the next one.